So, what really makes us strong? It's a question every single one of us who lifts has asked at some point. We're all conditioned to think it's about getting bigger muscles, but the real secret, the hidden engine driving elite strength, it isn't in your biceps. It's actually in your brain. Let's dig in.
Come on, you've probably been there, right? You're putting in the work, you can see your muscles are growing, but your big lifts, your squat, your bench, have just completely hit a wall. It's such a frustrating plateau, and pretty much everyone who trains seriously runs into it. So what's going on? Why can you build more muscle without actually getting much stronger?
Well, this all leads to a really fascinating paradox. A bunch of research shows that lifting lighter weights, as long as you take it to failure, can build just as much muscle, what we call hypertrophy, as lifting super heavy. But here's the catch. While the size gains can be pretty much identical, the strength gains, they're not even in the same ballpark. And that's the mystery we're going to solve today.
To really get our heads around this, we need to think about our body's strength system in two distinct parts. The easiest way to picture it is with a simple computer analogy: hardware versus software.
Okay, so your muscles, that's the hardware, that's the engine. Their size or hypertrophy determines your potential for strength. But your nervous system, that's the software. It's the driver telling that engine exactly what to do. It handles the signal strength, the coordination, and ultimately how much of that engine's potential you can actually tap into. You know, you could have a giant V8 engine, but if the driver doesn't know how to floor it, you're not going anywhere fast.
So how do we know this is true? Well, scientists actually put this whole idea to the test in a pretty brilliant experiment. Let me walk you through how they did it.
Back in 2017, researchers took 26 guys and split them into two groups for a 6-week leg extension program. The first group, the high-load group, trained with 80% of their 1-rep max. We're talking heavy weights, stuff they could only lift for a handful of reps. The other group, the low-load group, trained with just 30% of their max. Way lighter weight, way more reps. Now the crucial part here is that both groups took every single set to absolute failure.
And the first result was pretty wild. After those 6 weeks, both groups saw almost the exact same increase in muscle size. The heavy lifting group's quads grew by 6.7%, while the light lifting groups grew by 6.0%. I mean, statistically speaking, that's no difference at all. The hardware got the same upgrade in both groups.
But, and this is a big but, the strength gains were a completely different story. The high-load group got a whopping 27.7% stronger, and the low-load group, only 9.5%. That massive difference is the heart of our puzzle.
So let's just state the question clearly. With the same upgrade to the hardware, the muscle, why on earth did one group unlock so much more performance? What is that missing variable that explains this huge gap in strength? The answer, as you might have guessed, lies in that other component we talked about, the software. It all comes down to something called neural efficiency. This is where your brain steps into the spotlight.
And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. The researchers who actually ran the study said it themselves. They concluded that high-load training causes greater neural adaptations. In plain English, that means lifting heavy doesn't just train your muscles, it trains your nervous system to use those muscles way more effectively.
Just let that sink in for a minute. Getting strong isn't just a brute force process, it's a skill. Each time you lift a heavy weight, you are literally teaching your central nervous system, your brain, and your spinal cord how to perform that movement with maximum power and efficiency.
This whole skill-building process is called neural adaptation. You can think of it as a software update for your muscles. Your brain literally learns to send stronger and faster signals. It learns to recruit more muscle fibers at the exact same time. And it learns to get all your motor units firing together in perfect harmony.
Let's break it down. First, your brain learns to send a much more powerful electrical impulse down your spinal cord. Second, it gets way better at coordinating the activation of all the different muscle fibers you need for the lift. And third, it becomes more efficient. The study found that after heavy training, the athletes' bodies actually used less neural effort to produce the same amount of force, so they got stronger and more economical at the same time.
Okay, this is all fascinating science, but what does it actually mean for us in the gym? How do we take this knowledge and use it to build a program that maximizes not just muscle size, but that real functional strength?
Well, there are 3 key principles for training your software. First, the overload principle. You have to continuously give your body a reason to adapt, either by adding weight or trying to move the weight faster. Second, focus on velocity. The intent to move a weight with maximum speed, even if it's heavy, is what recruits the most muscle fibers. And third, you have to prioritize compound movements.
Yep,
The best tools for this are the big, multi-joint exercises that mimic real-life actions. For the lower body, that means squats and deadlifts. For pushing strength, you've got the bench press and overhead press. And for your back, it's all about pull-ups and rows. These lifts demand a massive amount of neuromuscular engagement, forcing your hardware and your software to work together as one.
So the crucial takeaway is this. If your goal is pure maximal strength, the kind that moves heavy objects and translates to powerful athletic performance, you can't just focus on building bigger muscles. You have to actively train your nervous system like it's a skill, and the best way to do that is with a foundation of heavy, compound lifting.
So the next time you're in the gym, I want you to ask yourself this. Are you just fatiguing your muscles, or are you practicing the skill of strength, teaching your brain how to unleash its full power? The answer could change absolutely everything about how you train. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.